Even after 14 years of zombies, here are 12 unsolved mysteries. The first in this video being this, the Only the Cursed Survive poster. It was the first image we ever saw for Black Ops 3 Zombies and a pre-order poster for the game. Now, there are multiple elements of this poster which we recognize, but ultimately this poster is still a mystery. You have the poster slogan, Only the Cursed Survive, which is a reference to the Shadows of Evil crew, as they are well and truly cursed, but these characters do not survive. Does this slogan have some deeper meaning and could be referencing a completely different character altogether? Furthermore, we have this zombie dressed up in a white shirt with a tie, holding what looks like a playing card with the Mark of the Beast symbol on it. Now, the amount of people that thought this was Jason Hudson as a zombie was ridiculous, but we've had no explanation why the zombie is dressed up like this or what the card could mean. And underneath, we see a real-life shot of a set of skyscrapers in the city of Chicago. Now, some keen-eyed zombie fans, including myself, noticed this back in 2015, theorizing that the first zombies map in BO3 was going to be set in Chicago. But that clearly never happened. Shadows of Evil was set in a fictional city called Morgue City, which visually might have some similarity to the Chicago skyscrapers. But unlike other marketing material we've gotten for zombies over the years, this one has never actually made sense. Our second mystery is a recent one, being Samantha's outfit at the end of Firebase Z. We were all completely shocked to see her walk out of that teleporter with a completely different outfit with accessories and items that resembled parts of our beloved Primus crew. Treyarch have never once explained what happened between the time of her being in the Dark Ether to coming out in Firebase C with all of these clothing items, but we can see on her head she's got some flying goggles that look very similar to Nikolai Belinsky's. She has a katana on her back, very reminiscent to Takeo wielding a katana on his side, a gas mask which is exactly the same one seen in Zetsubo no Shima, and a red scarf which Dr. Monty was notoriously known for wearing. But not only that, the scarf also has a resemblance to one that Scarlet wore in the Chaos story, and we only learned recently through Vanguard that the Chaos storyline might be connected to Aether all along. There are so many other details that are never explained, like the dark Aether color in her eyes, one of her arm pads having a skull icon, the number 5 in multiple areas, a flare grenade, and this strange object. I would love to see in the next Cold War game Treyarch show Samantha's journey in the Dark Ether to show how she got all of these items and what they're linked to. Since we saw her clothing change a few more times before the Cold War season was over, we might not get an explanation after all. Moving on to our third unsolved mystery is the KN-44 summoning key schematic. Scattered around the giant zombies map on Black Ops 3 Zombies, there were multiple scraps of paper that when put together depicting the KN-44 inside of a cube inside of the summoning key. And in the bottom right, we see that this is signed by Dr. Monty, which is, I think, the only time we've ever seen an image with his signature on it. So we know he created this schematic, but there is so many elaborate imagery across the entire schematic that it can't just be a simple decoration. There's depictions of systems overlapping and intercepting different orbits, and in every single corner we can see solar system models with certain planetary positions relative to the sun. Now, you can see a correlation between this schematic and the paper you create in Shadows of Evil from Richtofen that also depict these waveforms to simulate time and space, but it's the KN-44 in the middle which is the most confusing of all, because there's so many other weird instances where the KN-44 has been discovered, such as when Dempsey falls down to Earth in Drak, there can be a KN-44 flying out of the debris upon landing, and Jason Blundell himself made a big deal about the KN-44s back in the day with this interview clip here.
A lot of weird KN-44 appearances.
Yes.
And I was wondering, is that anything that we need to look into, or is that just weird?
Feel free to look into it. And then you forget also you got the picture as well.
What, on the giant?
With the hypercube.
With the KN-44.
A lot of KN-44.
Will we ever know what this schematic means? I don't think so. The next unsolved mystery is one which 99% of you have probably never heard of. Anyone that played zombies from the very beginning obviously knows about Group 935, but did you know there was another group called Group 601? The existence of this group first surfaced in an alternate loading screen for the co-op version of Doris, showing 601 at the bottom instead of 935. The group's logo looks very similar to Group 935, but there are enough distinct differences that they do look different. And in Black Ops 1, we got two more references to this group with a hidden Black Ops 1 image in the files, the logo behind a nuclear mushroom cloud, and two pylon towers, which are very similar to what we see for Maxis and Richthofen in Black Ops 2, with the German words Stage 2 and Strength Through Order. Now, there's a physical reference to it within Black Ops 1 in the Berlin Wall DLC map, where you can see it in this building of vinyls. Now, this group were not referenced again until Black Ops 3, where there are papers on the ground within the Giant, the campaign safe house, and a lobby where you can see a cropped version of the Black Ops 1 image, which has been adjusted slightly. You can also find newspapers around the Giant that show this symbol on them. Treyarch has never explained this group, nor given them any context whatsoever. This group will be an unsolved mystery for the rest of Call of Duty's life. On the topic of things that will never be solved, we have to talk about ciphers. Throughout the history of Black Ops, ciphers have been the key way for us to get information about the future through a means that very few will be able to work out. Well, that's where Revelations comes in for Black Ops 3 Zombies. Upon the release of this map, Jason Blundell hinted that the ciphers on this map will be so incredibly difficult that no one will ever be able to solve them. And he wasn't kidding. Out of the 14 ciphers that are on that map, 10 of them remain unsolved. Now, this isn't a case of players just not being bothered to try and solve these. People have been trying for years and years to solve some of these, and no one has gotten anywhere. Now, from the very few that have been solved, they are all incredibly juicy bits of information, so I can't imagine what stuff is hiding on this map that we might never ever find out. The same could be said for one cipher on the Giant. Now, the pattern for ciphers on the Giant is that they foreshadowed a future DLC map. All of those have eventually been discovered, but one of them still remains unsolved. I'd love to know in the comment section your opinions on ciphers. Do you enjoy them, or do you just see them as an unnecessary way to hide information? Here's an unsolved mystery you've probably never even thought about. That is everyone's favorite character from the Victor's crew, Russman. Within that crew, we have Martin, Samuel, and Misty. We all know their full names, but Russman is only ever known as Russman. We don't have a surname. We don't even know if that is his real name. Within the intro for the Buried Zombies map, he mentions that he can't remember his full name. We will genuinely never ever know what Russman's full name is. Okay, now here's an unsolved mystery you haven't really thought too much about. Now, when you play Shadows of Evil and turn on the Pack-a-Punch, a lot of things happen in the map, and one of those, blink and you'll miss it, is that the Mob of the Dead plane is flying overhead. Now, obviously, these two dimensions are connected, which makes sense, of course, but we also see it in a few other maps, which is really puzzling. We see it in Zetsubou no Shima, flying through the sky out from one portal into another, but we see it crashed on the roof of the Giant's ZC teleporter. Now, this has never ever been explained. Well, of course, we can assume that there are multiple versions of the dimensions we experience in game, and in one of them, they might have ended up in the Giant and crashed their plane here, but we've never ever gotten an explanation within the map why it's there, and I don't think we will ever know. Here is an unsolved mystery which actually isn't from a Treyarch Zombies game. We're jumping over to Infinite Warfare Zombies in Spaceland. But there is genuinely an impossible Easter egg that none of us will ever be able to achieve, and it only happens by getting to round 6,000. Yeah, that's right, round 6,000, which is honestly impossible to get to around that high in any of the more modern Call of Duty Zombies games. But for some reason, if you do get to round 6,000 on Zombies in Spaceland, all of the zombies suddenly have space helmets on. Now, no one knows why you have to get to round 6,000 specifically for this to work, if there is any significance to the number 6,000 as to why these space helmets are on the zombies. It goes down in history as the most impossible Easter egg to do in all of Zombies, because you genuinely will never never ever get to round 6,000 to see it legitimately. Moving swiftly on to our 10th unsolved mystery is going to be on Black Ops 4 Dead of the Night. At this point, I don't think there's any more Easter eggs left to be found, but on Dead of the Night, if you throw a wraith fire in 2 of the chandeliers, it makes a really distinct noise that sounds like you've completed an Easter egg step, but no one has ever worked out what this does. Not only that, but there are also 6 pots in this main hall that can be broken if a grenade is thrown into them, but nothing else is known about them. And with someone that loves zombies and Easter eggs and wants to know every single thing inside these games, it's crazy that over 3 years since the release of this map, nearly 4 years, we still don't know what this does. So this is very much an unsolved mystery. Now, our second to last mystery is over on Classified for Black Ops 4, and we were all assuming that we were going to see an explanation for this in Cold War, and that's the Stuhlinger radio on Classified, where Stuhlinger is leaving a certain Edward Richtofen a voice message about how they've been stuck somewhere for a really long time that's dark and cold and full of roaches, which very much sounds like the Dark Ether. The community have even made assumptions that certain sounds you hear in D Machine with the power off could be the Victus crew in the Dark Ether. This radio heavily suggests that they are stuck in the Dark Ether but are still alive, but we've not heard or seen any references since, and there's a chance that we might not ever have this radio explained, but it would be amazing to see the Victus crew return in some way, shape or form in the next Black Ops game in the Dark Ether story. The final unsolved mystery is probably one of the biggest, spanning over 7 years since the first release of Black Ops 3. Jason Blundell has hinted to the community that there is a unsolvable Easter egg inside of Black Ops 3.
So going into Black Ops 3, I'm fed up now, and I'm going to really put one in that you guys can't break, and it'll be hidden in different arenas, and you won't get this one.
Now, with the specific clues given saying that he's going to hide it in different arenas and you'll never find it, you might actually be right with this one, because no one has ever discovered with concrete evidence this unsolvable Easter egg. And there is 99.9% chance that we will never hear the full answer from Treyarch on what this unsolvable Easter egg actually is. Could it be just on Shadows of Evil? Is it something across all of the maps? We just don't know, and probably never will. If you've been around in the community for a long time, you will definitely remember that and probably still ponder on it from time to time what on earth this unsolvable Easter egg is. If you'd like to see more videos like this, then please drop your feedback and ideas, future videos like this, in the comment section below. Drop a thumbs up if you like this video and subscribe for more videos like this.